Hey guys, this is Kylie Harder coming to you with some info on beets. So, this week in my farmer's basket, I got some beautiful beets with the green still on them. So, super fresh, tons of greens, really solid bunch of beets here. So, beets are super great for liver detox, which we all know is helpful in the summertime with all these summer barbecues and whatnot, as well as, all sorts of other great nutrients, especially based on their dark red color. And then the greens are a nice dark leafy green, which is always great to incorporate. So a lot of times with beets, the tops get thrown away and you just use the actual beet part. But what I want to try and do is show you a way to use the whole thing. So with the actual beet root, I really have been wanting to make some beet chips. So snacks like that can be pretty expensive when you're buying them at the store already made. So I'm actually going to use a dehydrator to make them, but you can also just as easily do this on a low temperature in the oven, say like 300 or so, and you just put them in there and let them go until they start to get crispy. So a tricky thing about beet chips will be to get the beets, nice and thin. So I'm going to try using my spiralizer attachment on my KitchenAid, which I've never done before. So I'm going to see how that goes. Otherwise, if you have a mandolin, like a hand mandolin, would work out really great. Or just a sharp kitchen knife. A sharp knife would be fine. The goal is to just get a consistent thickness throughout the whole cutting so that you don't have pieces that are cooking way faster than others. And if you do run into that, the easiest thing to do is to just pull out the ones that are done when they're ready and then let the other ones go a little longer. So it's not really a huge problem if you have a little bit of thickness variation. So I'm going to start by taking and chopping. Oops, we don't need the lemon right now. Okay. So we're going to start by chopping off right about here of the beets. Whoa. Okay. So we're going to take the greens and set them aside for now. And so we've got all our beets here. So the next step is going to be to wash them. So I'm just going to do that real quick. So I've rinsed them pretty good. So now I'm just going to take the root pieces and just trim them off. So just trim them off just like that. And same with these little stubby pieces of stem. I'll just take those off. So what we've got left is a flat top, flat bottom, little beetroot. Okay, so that's the last one. So here are our little beets. And so for the spiralizer, I've got it set up already. So you can see the KitchenAid there. So I'm just going to start and see what happens. The bad thing about the spiralizer is it always is going to core. There's a core on the attachment, but we'll just go for it and see what happens. That worked out pretty well. So I've got my spiral. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go through and kind of pinch it so that I have these little circles. So that's kind of thicker than what I was expecting, but honestly, that's probably way more consistent than I would be with a knife. So we're just going to continue on. just like this. Now for these center pieces that came out, I will probably slice those up and just put them on top of the salad. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm not taking the skin off because I know where they came from and I made sure I washed them. That's up to you if you want to peel them or not. Personally, I don't peel very many of my vegetables because I figure I buy mostly organic. I know where they're coming from, and the skin has extra nutrients in it, so why not use the whole thing? But if you want to peel it, feel free to do that. So another really great thing about beets is they are a sweet vegetable. So if you have a lot of sugar cravings throughout the day, a really great way to try and curb them would be to add in more sweet vegetables to your diet. So things like beets and carrots are super easy to utilize, and if you eat them throughout the day, you're getting that sugar in a source that's way better for you than if you were to eat, say, a candy bar. So that's a super great way to get that sweet fix without without eating candy or something else that's bad for you. Super pretty. All right, so I am going to rinse my hands and set up the dehydrator. I'm not going to use any oil. I'm just going to use them as is, and I'm going to sprinkle them with salt on some and a little pinch of salt and some cinnamon on the others. If you're going to do it in the oven, I would suggest using a little bit of coconut oil or olive oil just to make sure they're not going to stick. You can also put them on parchment paper, and in that case, you really don't need a lot of oil because they're not going to stick to the parchment paper. So it's really up to you what you prefer. Okay, so now we've got the trays ready. I'm just going to stack this up and get it started. And I'm not sure quite how long to go because these are a little bit thicker than I was planning on. So I'm going to set it to about 135 degrees, and I'll just check on it periodically until they're dehydrated. But I wouldn't be surprised if this went for about 12 hours. So I didn't realize my video cut out at the end there, but overall, I cooked the chips for about 12 hours and they were done in the morning, and I took them to work as a snack. The maple syrup didn't really come through, but otherwise the chips were crunchy and delicious and a great option for your work snacks and whatnot. So stay tuned for my next video. Part 2 of beets, we'll talk about the beet greens and make a delicious quiche. Thanks, guys!